Answer is 5. Answer is 27.
Please report to the lobby and see Mr. Saggers.
Answer should be 0. Pick a number from 1 to 10. Today's numbers are 5 and 8. Homework answers. 1, 2, and 3 are listed here. What you must do in the future is to extend your lines from border to border on the graph. Anything that is short, such as this, is not going to count in the future. Anything that is squiggly, like that, is not going to count. Anything like that with no arrows will not count. They must look like this, especially putting the problem numbers at either end so it's easy to see what exactly you're graphing there. Any questions on 1, 2, and 3? 4, 5, and 6. I've done mine 3 at a time, even though yours were 5 on a paper, so they're easier to see on the screen up here. If you do it right, then you should be able to see a figure like this if you were only graphing 3 of them. That's another way to check. And of course you could still have this open triangle there even if you had 5 lines on your paper. Any questions on 4 through 6? 7, 8, and 9. 8 is a horizontal line, 7 is a vertical line. Of course 9 has a positive slope. Any questions on 7 through 9? Okay, and there's number 10 by itself. Rises up to the right below the x-axis. Any questions on 10? Today's stuff, and probably from here on out, is going to be mobile enhanced. If you have an iPhone or a smartphone, there's an app that I need you to download that you can use in conjunction with the screen in order to get more out of it. If you have an iPhone, this is the name of the app, and you can get your iPhone out now and start downloading it when you have time in between problems here. It's called Scan, and it's made by QR City. It's free, and if you don't have an iPhone or in a different smartphone, chances are there is a QR reader app for that phone. It's called QR, and if you put that in to a search on your app store, then you're going to come up with apps that are QR readers, and you can put those in there. There's all kinds of things we're going to do with this. The objective today is to graph lines from slope, intercept, form. And underneath that, we're going to have several different things to look at. Know what and where B is, know what and where M is, and graph lines with positive or negative slopes. And even underneath this one, there are things we have to do before we cover everything. Essential questions to start off with. Question 1, y equals mx plus b. What form is this in? Name of that form, y equals mx plus b, is slope-intercept form. You must know that. Question number 2, what is this? What is the m in y equals mx plus b form? What does it stand for? It stands for the slope. Question number 3, what does the b stand for? Y-intercept. That is where a line will cross the y-axis. It's the y-intercept. And question number 4, the slope has 2 numbers regardless of how it's written. It's something over something. What are those 2 words that go in here and here? Slope is represented as something over something. Rise over run. Yes, slope equals rise, and the run part was left off on that, so we'll go there. Over run. And now this is a walk by. That means you're going to have to bring something by and not drop it off, but just show it to me. Slope equals rise over run. What is the run in this slope? The run in this is 3. is simply 3. Question number 5, in terms of direction, slope equals something over something. Not rise over run, but the directions in terms of up, down, left, or right. So slope is going to equal something. What direction do we go according to the top number? Up and down. And where do we go according to the bottom number? Never to the left. Only to the right. You never go to the right according to the bottom, or never go to the left according to the bottom number. You always go to the right. Alright, now if you have that reader downloaded, you can come up here and scan this off of the screen. Example problem number 1. What is the slope of this line? Find 2 points on the line first so that you can find the slope. And when I say find 2 points on the line, I mean find points that are actually on the intersections of these grids, not a point like this. It must be on an intersection of a grid. So there are 2 points that match up. Now create a triangle according to those 2 points. And there's the triangle. It's a right triangle like this. Now the rise is going to be the part of the triangle that goes up, and the run is going to be the part of the triangle that goes left and right. So now you have to count the blocks to figure out what the slope is. So we've counted 1, 2, and then 3. So it has a rise of 3. And then count 1. Here's a walk by. What is the distance on the bottom? We have 2, 3, 4, and then 5 blocks that make up the bottom part. So the run equals 5. The rise is 3, the run is 5. Now here's a walk-by problem. But before you finish, you have to figure out something else. Does the line rise to the right, or does it fall to the right? If it rises to the right, then the slope is positive. If it falls to the right, then the slope is negative. The slope is 3 over 5, but what sign should it be? Example number 2. What is the slope of this line? Choose 2 points like we did before. There they are. There's the triangle you have to make. Now count the blocks. 3 down the left side for the rise. Now here's a walk by. On the run it should be 3. That's the rise. This is the run. Rise over run equals 3 over 3. Positive or negative? Does that line go up to the right or fall to the right? There's the graph. It falls to the right. It falls to the right down here. So it's negative. The slope is negative 3 over 3. But there's something more you have to look at. You must reduce when possible. You can't leave something as negative 3 over negative 3. So if the slope is negative 3 over 3, what does it reduce to? It reduces to negative 1 over 1, but that's not the final answer. Negative 1 over 1 is negative 1. Alright, practice problem number 1. What is the slope of this line? On this one, we can have a triangle here to here for obvious points, and that's 1, 2 there, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It rises to the right, so the slope is positive. The answer should be 2 over 7. Bonus problem number 1. Solution for the bonus is that your triangle could go here, point, point, count, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your slope is 2 over 6, but it falls to the right, so that means it's negative. 2 over 6 reduces to 1 over 3. It should be a negative 1 over 3. Practice problem number 2. What is the slope of this line? For this one, the triangle is here, and we'll have 1 for the rise, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For the run, it rises to the right, so the slope is positive. It is 1 over 6. Bonus problem number 2. Find the slope of this line. Solution for the slope. Here is your triangle down to here, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3. 5 over 3, but it drops to the right. That means it's negative. It should be a negative 5 over 3. All right, essential question. What is the y-intercept of this line? Where does it cross the y-axis? 1, yes. Here is a walk-by. What is the y-intercept of this line? The y-intercept is where it intercepts the y-axis. That is this point, and it's a negative 1 on the y-axis. What is the y-intercept on this line? Walk through here and show it to me. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. That is a negative 2. What is the y-intercept of this line? The y-intercept on this is 0. What is the y-intercept on this line? Walk through here and show me. This passes through the y-intercept at 3. Example problem number 3. What is the equation of this line? We're going to find the y equals mx plus b equation of the line. First of all, what is the slope of the line? We have a triangle there that we can create from 2 points that are on the line. We count up. We have a rise of 1 and a run of 2. And it's a positive slope. So the slope equals a half. Now, this is going to be a walk-by maybe. What is the y-intercept? We don't have to walk by on this. What is the y-intercept? It is 1. The y-intercept is 1. So you have to put it all together. We had a slope of a half, a y-intercept of 1. Y equals mx plus b is the form of the equation. The slope is 1/2, which is m. The y-intercept equals plus 1, which is the b. So insert those values into y equals mx plus b. Start off with blanks in those spots. A half goes in that spot for the slope. And what would go at the end of it? What goes at the end is plus 1. There is your whole equation. Y equals 1/2 x plus 1. This is the slope. This is the y-intercept. Example problem number 4. What is the equation of the line? First of all, you have to find the slope. There are 2 points that are on that line that intersect grids like this. Create a triangle. Now, what is the slope of that line? Because you have 4 blocks down the left and you have 4 on the underneath, that's 4 over 4. But is it positive or negative? It is falling to the right. Therefore, it is negative. Simplify the slope of negative 4 over 4 to negative 1. Now, what is the y-intercept on this graph? Nope, not negative 2. Negative 3. It's right here. So we have a y-intercept of negative 3. And for some reason I put it down as negative 4. It should be negative 3. So you have a slope of negative 1 and a y-intercept of negative 3. into this equation. So y equals negative 1x, and instead of minus 4, this should be minus 3. But there is something you have to simplify, which is this. You cannot leave a negative 1 up against an x. Look at card number 4 in the back of the room. See the 1 beside the x? And you can't do this sign around it. That means you can never have a 1 beside an x by itself. So to simplify that, you do this. It turns into simply negative x minus 4. That's the same as negative 1x. Just drop the 1. Okay, here's a scannable code here if anybody wants to do that. Practice number 3. What is the equation of the line? This is an obvious point here, and so is this one. So you could make a triangle there with a rise of 1 and a run of 2, but it has to be negative. So y equals a negative half x plus 1. Bonus problem. What is the equation of the line? Alright, the equation for this one should be y equals 3/2 x plus 3. Exit slips, turn those in before you leave. Next up is tonight's homework. And you can get it off of Facebook, or you can scan the code up here and it will automatically go to your phone, whichever you want to do.